Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com, and I have here the Samsung Rugby Smart from AT&T. This is a rugged phone. It's waterproof, shockproof, temperature-proof. It can withstand pretty much anything you put it through, at least that's what Samsung says. Now the question is it really as rugged as it's supposed to be? Is it as durable as it's supposed to be? We're going to find that out in the full review, but the interesting thing is that it's actually a pretty decent smartphone. It ships with Android 2.3, a 1.4 gigahertz Snapdragon processor, and a camera that captures HD video. So overall, it looks like a good phone. It seems like a good phone. I'm going to tell you guys in the review if it actually is a good phone and if it's as durable as they say it is. Before we start the review, I have to say especially to our friends at Best Buy Mobile, they sent us the phone that we add to our One Paw Bandit game, which is the game where you guys can win free phones. One of the great things about Best Buy Mobile is that when you buy a phone from them, you don't have to worry about rebates because the price on the tag is the price you pay. So thank you Best Buy Mobile for being so awesome. Thank you guys for watching this review. We're going to start it off with some of the durability tests that I put the Rugby Smart through to see how durable it is. We'll start with that, and then we'll get on to the full review. I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com. Let's get started. So those are my very scientific tests that I performed with the Rugby Smart, and for the most part it did okay. You can see obviously it got really beat up around the edges here, but that's going to happen whenever you drop a phone. On the back you have kind of some nicks and some scratches here, but overall, performance is still fine. It still works after everything I did to it. Not a whole lot of real problems. I did get some dirt kind of caught in these seams here, but that's nothing that's really going to mess up the phone. It's just something that you're going to have to clean out. A couple of problems I did have is there's a scratch across the screen, and this happened after I rubbed it in the rocks. Now, obviously most people are probably not going to just rub their phone on rocks, but if you do, I was kind of disappointed that it did get that scratch, and that was after the very first swipe. I wasn't even doing it that hard, and it got that scratch. Not only that, but if we go to the back of the phone, now it has a seal right here, and obviously I had this locked whenever I put it in the water, but as you can see, if I take the battery cover off, there's still some water that got in here even though I had it sealed. So, thankfully it didn't get to the battery because that would have been bad, but still kind of disappointing that any of it even got in there. I only had it in probably, 4 or 5 inches of water for, maybe a minute, 30 seconds, and it still let some water in. So disappointing there, and then disappointing with the scratch on the display. It's not the most rugged phone that I've tested. I've tested phones that are much more durable. But for the average person who maybe just have a hectic lifestyle, you're outside a lot, it should be fine. But for someone who has a job where they're constantly working around dirt and water and rocks, or you're just extremely hard on your phone, it may not be the most rugged phone. You may want to look at something else, but still it was durable. It withstood most of what I put it through. It's water, dust, shock, and temperature proof, IP 67.00 certified, and then military certified. Let me see, military standard 810 certified. So if you know what all of those certifications are, then you know how rugged it is, and it did pretty well. So that's the durability. Now the next question is, how does it perform as a phone? It may be durable, but if it's not worth using, then it's not really worth anything. So we'll start with that. It is an Android phone. It ships with Android 2.3. As you can see, Samsung has added their UI, TouchWiz UI. This actually ships with TouchWiz 4.0, which is the latest version of TouchWiz, and this brings a lot of nice features. For example, resizable widgets. This is a new feature in TouchWiz 4.0, so I can resize these widgets. Same thing with this clock widget, this email widget. Any of the custom Samsung widgets, you'll be able to resize them. You also get kind of a new look and feel with TouchWiz that's a little more refined, not quite as cartoony and colorful. It definitely looks a lot better. And then having Android 2.3, definitely something nice to have. Now, I don't have any word on if or when it will get Android 4.0, the next version called Ice Cream Sandwich, but still having 2.3 with the latest version of the UI, that's definitely a nice feature to have. You can see the notification panel. We have toggles for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, airplane mode, and screen rotation. It does come with, as you can see, a custom email client with its own widget. And as you can see down there, it also will tell you how many new emails you have. So just a couple of the custom apps that come with Samsung's UI. You do have physical buttons down here: menu, home, back, and search. The hardware is, it's a rugged phone, so obviously it's not the most attractive phone you're ever going to see. But still, even considering that, it has a nice modern design. I've seen, most rugged phones, they're very thick, very bulky. They have all that extra padding, and then they just, want to make it look rugged, and so it kind of has this hardware design to it. But this one it's more sleek. It's a lot thinner than I thought it would be, 0.35 inches thick, which in my experience is very thin for a rugged phone. It feels solid, feels great, has a nice durable feel to it, and then you have these rubberized edges here on the sides and on the top. All the ports are covered, obviously, in order to keep it waterproof. Micro USB port on the bottom, 3.5mm headphone jack on the top, power and screen lock button on the right side, and then the volume rocker buttons on the left side. So going back to the front here, 3.7-inch display. It has a resolution of 480 by 800. It's actually a Super AMOLED display, and then of course, like I said, Gorilla Glass technology with the screen. But that Super AMOLED display, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. The color saturation is excellent. And then even though that resolution of 480 by 800 is pretty standard for smartphones, it's not an HD display. But still, because it's kind of a smallish display at 3.7 inches, the pixel density is great. It's about 252 pixels per inch. So as you can see, the text and the graphics are very clear, and then the colors just look great. So the display overall, very impressive. Now when it comes to typing and using a virtual keyboard, obviously it doesn't have a physical keyboard. When it comes to doing that, it kind of just depends on how large your thumbs or your fingers are, in terms of how comfortable it's going to be. I have pretty small fingers and pretty small thumbs, so you can see typing for me isn't really that difficult. The Quick Brown Fox got muddy. The Quick Brown Dozen for muddy. But yeah, really just depends on the size of your thumbs, and of course you can use it in landscape mode. You can see this is the stock Android keyboard, and then it also comes with, go to input method, also comes with a Samsung keypad and swipe, and this is the Samsung keypad. In a lot of ways looks very similar to the Android keypad, but it functions differently. So that's what you get.